NAMIC Atlanta, welcome to our latest taping of Coffee Talk. It is Black History Month, and as you know, we pride ourselves on getting some of the best leaders in our industry. And when we start thinking about Black History Month, we want to always look at getting people who personify leadership in the past, the present, and the future. And so we have the privilege of having Daphne Leroy with us today. Daphne is the Senior Vice President of Advertising Strategy and Culture over at Paramount. Daphne, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Charles. Thanks for having me.
Oh, are you kidding me? I've been trying to get you on for a long time. You're one of those individuals that when I see what you're doing, through the various social medias, I'm like, we have to have Daphne on. We have to get some of that energy that you're providing. We're going to talk a little later on some of the.
Yeah, well, I'm here and I'm wearing my NAMIC green.
I was going to go there.
It.
I tried to figure. I said, did she wear that today? Because in honor of. So we are appreciative of you. Are all NAMIC through and through. You're bleeding a little green today, so we're happy for you.
Thank you so much.
And so, Daphne, I wanted to start off with you giving us a brief overview of what does it mean to help lead the advertising strategy and culture division for Paramount.
Right. So Paramount, as some of you may know, is formerly Viacom CBS. So Paramount Global comprises a domestic ad sales division, of which I'm a part of. And when you hear ad sales, you may think it's only made up of people in sales roles. However, we have over 1,000 staff members that are aligned with sales, are part of Paramount Advertising. Everything from research to operations, to digital, to integrated marketing and creative, to operations, to strategy. So it's a really large organization. And I sit on the strategy team. So I actually report into the Chief Operating Officer of Paramount Advertising. And in my role, I help transform initiatives around our business growth and around what I believe is our most important asset, our people. So being Senior Vice President of Strategy and Culture includes, again, the intersection of business growth and people with regards to workplace culture and inclusion and learning and development, as well as charitable and philanthropic endeavors and social impact efforts to support our clients, the communities, and the audiences that we serve.
Wow. Okay. So that's a lot. And in this changing world that we live in, the dynamics have us going all over the place. Hey, we're going from how do we advertise on linear to what are we looking at with streaming? You said earlier when we were having conversations, I think it was the Oscars or the Grammys. Which one is this coming up this weekend?
Yeah, Grammys, Super Bowl.
Grammys is coming up, right? And so the Super Bowl's coming up.
This is like CBS.
Money-making season for advertisers. And so when you talk about the culture and having individuals who are aligned with that vision, how do you say you lead? How do they look at you, Daphne, and say, Daphne is that leader that we want to rally behind because of ... fill in the blank?
Grit. Grace.
Oh, I like
integrity. That. And there's a quote that resonated with me by honor her legacy, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Fight for the things you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. So I always tap into that collaboration piece, bring others along. And I think that's my leadership style.
Okay, I'm with you. And now, well, Paramount's a very successful company, so I'm assuming that it's resonating with the team. Now, when I go back and look at your career journey, you've been involved in broadcasting, cable, TV, publishing. When you look at all of the various hops that you've had, was it a straight line? Did you have a bunch of curves? And how did it prepare you for where you are right now?
Oh my career journey was not linear. I don't have enough curves to demonstrate the amazing diversity of my career journey. And it's been intentional. And it's been the array of marketing experiences in sales organizations, working in communications, and those teams working in social responsibility that allows me in my current role to leverage the diversity of my background so that I'm able to connect with people that have been in roles that I walked in their shoes, right? And one other aspect of my role that is really fulfilling is my ability to collaborate with key stakeholders across our company,
Mm.
whether it's corporate marketing, communications, corporate social responsibility and environmental social governance, human resources, global inclusion. So, having worn many different hats throughout my diverse career journey allows me, I think, to be a much stronger partner in my day to day work.
So I'm a up and coming college graduate, early career person, and I'm trying to figure out how do I get this career in advertising and sales? What's that advice, those breadcrumbs that you could lay out for us that says this is how you become successful in my industry?
Right. I love that question. And if I had to characterize my career, I would say resiliency and reinvention. And now more than ever, when you look at our business, change is the biggest challenge.
Mm.
And you've got to embrace resiliency and reinvention to navigate everything from understanding and succeeding in how audiences consume content, the evolution of streaming, the advanced advertising business, how content is distributed and monetized, and more. And with this ever evolving landscape, the only constant for us, Charles, in our business is change. So, what do you need to embrace that? Adaptability and agility, which happen to be two really important values of Paramount Global that I embrace daily. And with an ever changing world, you have to have a growth mindset. You can never stop learning so that you
Mm.
are ahead of the curve and that your biggest currency is not necessarily how much you know, but how you learn. And that is so important because your career is a marathon and not a sprint. So you have to be in it for the long game.
Got it. So having a high aptitude gets you across a maybe a low information or lower, I won't say lower, but lower information bar when you first enter the room. If you could come into that room and you're in with a bunch of people who've been doing it forever, right? But you have that learning curve that says, oh, I'm going to initially get me there, but I'm going to take that back, learn, skill up. I could come back in that room and still be successful. I got you. So one thing that I'm blessed to speak to leaders for a fair amount of time. And one thing that I've been able to observe, and I've observed it with you and many others, is you have a level of stamina about you that doesn't make it that, oh, I had a good week. Oh, I had a good month. Oh, I had a good quarter. That may in duration seem long, but really, you guys do it daily, every single day. I had a great day. My energy level is high. Why? Because I have X hundred people reporting in. And if they see this low energy dip, if they see me having mental, you know, drops and it affects the larger audience. What's giving you that drive, that passion, that willpower to say, I'm bringing it every single day?
I love that, Charles, because the way I put it, you have to show up and show out
Mm,
every day, not
every
only
day.
for yourself, but your team. And enthusiasm is contagious. So, how do you bring it in a way that's authentic and passionate, and that you're a leader and a supporter of your team? So, when you talk about stamina, which is such an important aspect, I think, of anyone's success, including my own, I wanted to share a quote I read recently, which is life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning how to dance in the rain,
Hmm,
learning how to
nice.
dance in the rain. So that goes back to the resiliency, the stamina. How do you each and every day, year over year, decade after decade, tap into that core? And a part of the reason that I'm able to meet that goal is I'm a daughter of immigrants. I'm a first generation Haitian American. My parents emigrated from Haiti to New York City in the turbulent 60s. And for anyone who's a son or daughter of immigrants, you know that you want to make your parents proud. So when I walk into a conference room, I'm not only representing myself, Daphne Leroy, I'm
Ooh,
representing my parents. I'm representing my grandparents, my community. And the more that I can achieve, the better I can give back and pay it forward so that the next generation can advance even farther than you and I, Charles. So I really think it's that first generation immigrant American mentality that's also a deep part of my grit, but also my grace to embrace people from all backgrounds.
it's funny that you say those. I asked a person that I bumped into earlier in the week if they were able to, give me a description. I told them we were going to be talking. So yeah, you know,
Mhm.
know Daphne, but you know Daphne better. How would you describe Daphne? They said, and I don't know how you came up with the term. She's gritty, she's got grit, she's graceful, and she has the utmost in integrity. And so I'm laughing because you got two of the
That means
three
a
that
lot
that
to
person
hear.
said, right? And so, you know, I will say this because as I'm listening to the affection that you talk about with your family, and once again, Black History Month, this is what we do. This is why we think of these things, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, if you haven't shied away on giving back, right? Talk to me about Descendants of Hope and the Haitian Roundtable, right? Because these aren't things that you are participating in, you're
Mhm.
leading. And so help me out there.
Yeah, thank you for asking that because those are two passion projects of mine. So for me, it's about living my legacy right now. Each of us can live our legacy right now. And Descendants of Hope is a platform and an opportunity for me to pay homage to my parents,
Mm,
who are my greatest inspiration. As I mentioned, they emigrated from Haiti to New York City so that their American dream could become my American reality. So, as this personal passion project, I, in 2020, launched a platform called Descendants of Hope to amplify how diverse ancestry contributes to the colorful fabric of American society, for multicultural pride, to spotlight the inspirational journeys of immigrants and their descendants who are reaching heights their ancestors could never have imagined. So I invite the audience, if you'd like to learn more, if you'd like to share your journey, if you'd like to be inspired, please join the conversation, descendantsofhope.com and across social media. And with regard to the Haitian Roundtable, that's an organization that I have the honor of having celebrated the 15th anniversary just last year.
okay,
So
congratulations.
15, exactly. So just 15 years, I say just 15 years, but over a decade ago, we created the Haitian Roundtable, of which I'm a co-founder and I'm one of the vice chairs of the board of directors. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And because representation matters,
It does.
we
That's
work
one of
in
my favorite
media,
terms.
it matters. How do we own the narrative? And for the Haitian Roundtable, we're committed to civic engagement in the United States. It's an election year. So, how do we ensure that we are a respected constituency in the US? And what are those strategic initiatives, charitable partnerships, and programs, not only to give back to the community, but to reinvent the narrative about what it is to be a Haitian American in the United States today?
You know, you just said one of my representation matters. And people, when said, it can be looked at in multiple paradigms. But, I was talking to a group earlier today, and they said, oh, I don't need the visibility, don't worry about it. I said, you're missing my point. This is not for you. This is for everybody else, because representation matters. When they see you, they see us. And when they see us through you, they aspire to be like you where you are. And so, that's one of the reasons why, we strap them up, we do what we do. And conversations like this happen, at least from my side, where it says, representation matters. And if I can bring some of the best leaders in our industry from around the country, some cases around the world, then I'm feel like I'm doing my part. But a couple of questions before we get out here. You know, you're wearing your NAMIC green. You were part of ELDP, yeah, right? The
Yes,
executive.
proud class 7 of ELDP.
How did that help shape and form your thoughts and even how you lead now?
So I'm eternally grateful to the transformative experience that continues to be NAMIC's Executive Leadership Development Program. And for me, it was a really unique opportunity as I was advancing in my career to be in a room with people that look like me, people with similar ambition and aspirations, and to be taught and led by world-class faculty and academics with a curriculum that was set through the lens of being a person of color, a woman of color. And what's that toolbox that we may need that's got a few more hammers and screwdrivers that one of my peers may not require. And as I mentioned, I went through class 7, which was many years ago, and I still look back very fondly to my NAMIC ELDP experience. And again, eternally grateful for the experience.
Last question. That was supposed to be my last one, but this one, you said something earlier, and it's just been staying in my brain. You talked about how you maneuver through the organization and all of the different stakeholders and leaders you have to, come in contact and deal with. I'm big on networking, right? In terms of your network is your net worth, right? As well as your network gets you through logistical nightmares because you're able to call the right people at the right time to get certain things done. Any advice for individuals on the value of networking? And I'm gonna throw a second one in there for mentorship.
Yeah, so important, especially for the NAMIC audience. Networking, mentorship, sponsorship,
Mentorship.
and having advocates, critically important, each different and critically important. And I'll share another quick NAMIC story. So I had the dream job of wanting to work at MTV Networks many, many years ago. And I was working at Fox Broadcasting at the time. And I thought, well, how can I be in a room with people that work in cable? Because I was in the broadcast television side of the business at the time. And a colleague had mentioned NAMIC. I wasn't familiar with NAMIC, based in New York, and I attended a networking mixer. And in that room, I was so inspired by people of color making moves, decision makers, influencers. And out of that networking mixer, I had an informational interview with someone who worked at MTV Networks.
Mm.
And thanks to that informational meeting, I was able to get an interview, hired at MTV Networks as a coordinator, promoted to manager in less than a year, and became a director soon after. And during that journey at MTV Networks, I became NAMIC New York chapter president. So what a journey that was.
Yeah.
This young assistant wanting to get into MTV Networks, a cable industry which was booming and thriving, to eventually become president of the NAMIC New York chapter. So that came from networking and also surrounding myself with mentors, advisors, sponsors that I have to thank in this career journey of mine. So I can't speak more about the importance of these areas that you've shared, Charles, and how critically important organizations like NAMIC are in supporting people along their career journey.
You have the last word. Daphne, it has been incredible. It has been worth the wait. You know, when we start going back and looking at this tape, and hopefully people will listen to it a couple of times, because you're dropping a lot of gems in there that will help individuals along the way. Coaching, training, networking, how you show up, how do you give back, right? How you, when showing up, inspire individuals. These are all hallmarks of you and your great and wonderful career to date, because we know that you have an incredible future, even at this level, going beyond. So we appreciate you spending some time with us, Daphne. Thank you for your contributions to our village, and happy Black History Month.
Thank you so much, Charles. Thanks for having me.